Hi, and welcome back. I hope you really enjoyed the exercise uncovering the culture of Amazon based on the shareholder letter. In this video, I will give you my understanding, not necessarily the right understanding, on how I would map the culture at Amazon using the culture map from Strategizer. So let's start, as I recommended, at the very top with the outcomes. Amazon was the fastest company to reach $100 billion in revenues. In AWS, the fastest to ever reach $10 billion in revenues. Also, Amazon was tremendously fast in scaling Prime 2-day delivery from 1 million to 30 million items and getting 70,000 people or companies using the Amazon marketplace and making a certain amount of revenue. If you look at today's numbers, and those are not covered in the shareholder letter, you will also realize that Amazon today makes about 2/3 of their retail revenue coming from the marketplace, which means third-party sellers. That is basically a continuation of the trends that were already foreseeable in the 2015 shareholder letter. Now let's move on to the behaviors. We see that people at Amazon are overly obsessed about customers. They are very eager to invent, and they all think long-term. In addition, they are willing to fail, because without that willingness to fail, they probably would not be able to do the inventions, to do the innovation. And yes, they also do take pride in operational excellence. Now let's look at the enablers and the blockers. I will start out with the enablers first. Number one, Amazon distinguishes between two types of decisions. One type, which is decisions that are easily reversible, and they try to or encourage people to take those decisions fast. They decentralize those decisions. The second type of decisions are the ones that are not so reversible. So they take their time, and usually more senior people have to take those decisions. In addition, Amazon has a practice of disagree and commit, which basically means that whenever a decision is up, multiple people can come up with their perspectives, everyone gets a voice, but not everyone gets a vote. And once the decision is made, everyone, independent from whether they were in favor of it or against it, commits to that specific decision. In order to be able to do this, they of course need high judgment individuals that also are not afraid of taking decisions. That's a key enabler for Amazon's speed. Now let's move on to the blockers or potential blockers. If Amazon would approach every decision the same way, which means one-size-fits-all decision-making, that would definitely be a blocker. In a similar fashion, if Amazon was slow in making decisions, for example, escalating every decision to a steering committee, that would also be a huge blocker based on the behaviors they want to achieve and ultimately the outcomes that they do achieve. And finally, if Amazon did not have a process in place to do the experimentation that they do, that would also be considered as a blocker. So looking at this example, you can clearly see how the enablers and blockers result in the behaviors displayed by Amazon employees. Not surprisingly, those behaviors are exactly the values that Jeff Bezos tried to instill in the company from day one. In addition, you can clearly see that the behaviors and values such as customer obsession or the patience to think long-term are clearly connected to the outcomes, to the amazing outcomes that an organization like Amazon has achieved. I hope that this brief exercise using the culture map to uncover, lay out, or actually map the culture at Amazon has helped you get a good understanding of that tool and also get a good understanding of one of the most agile organizations out there and what kind of enablers and blockers they have put in place in order to get the right behaviors for their organization. In our next video, I will briefly talk about a few other things at Amazon that you might find insightful. See you there.